Και από το κατάλογο των Ελλήνων συναδέλφων, η κυρία Κατσαβριά, ο κύριος Γκρέκος και ο κύριος Αναστασιάδης. Για να έχουμε εναλλάξει την.
Εγώ στη θέση.
Έχετε το λόγο, κυρία Σέμος, για 3 λεπτά.
Distinguished colleagues and friends, thank you for the opportunity to brief you on the next issue of the Parthenon Marbles. I'm sure you all know how Lord Elgin used his power as the British ambassador to the Ottoman Empire, bribed the governor with huge swords, literally hacked off the sculptures, which he then sold to the British Museum in what is undoubtedly the greatest art crime in history. The UK simply refuses to even discuss their return. The British position does not waver. The sculptures were legally acquired and are vested in the British Museum, conveniently protected by an Act of British Parliament which prohibits the museum from deaccessioning objects. Think about this. The museum blames the government which prohibits them from dispensing with objects, including the Parthenon marbles. And the government blames the museum which says it holds the marbles in trust for the British people. So half the Parthenon marbles remain to this day in the British Museum behind this self-serving circular argument and faulty logic. Recently, the Greek government received advice to consider legal proceedings in the ICJ or European Court of Human Rights, something which learned jurists believe would have merit, but the Greek government considers too risky. It is only risky if it is done incorrectly and without a comprehensive understanding and strategy of the vast and nuanced legal procedures and jurisdictional limitations. The Greek government, however, favours soft diplomacy, so-called cultural diplomacy. But simply put, advocates increasingly believe that the British will never willingly return the Parthenon marbles. But now, Brexit has provided a unique opportunity to avoid both those previous strategies. Geoffrey Robertson, the author of the legal opinion, raised this ingenious proposal. Put simply, the UK has voted to leave the EU, and tense negotiations to finalise this divorce provide a golden opportunity to put the Parthenon marbles issue on the negotiating table. Specifically, Article 50 of the Lisbon Treaty on the EU provides that where a member state decides to withdraw from the Union shall negotiate and conclude an agreement with that state, setting out arrangements for its withdrawal, taking account of the framework for its future relationship with the Union. British MP Theresa May stressed that the UK remained committed partners in protecting shared European values. So in turn, the EU's draft guidelines on secession specified certain behaviours are required by the UK. This is an opportunity for Greece to form Brexit offers for the negotiating table. On the agenda should be the return of the Parthenon marbles to European soil. According to Robertson, a consequence of Brexit will be that the UK is no longer bound by Article 3 of the treaty, which provides that each member country must ensure Europe's cultural heritage is safeguarded. Thus, Greece has good reason to persuade its fellow member states to include the Parthenon on the agenda. Such a strategy will require a combination of political will and diplomatic flair by the Greeks. The big question is, does Greece actually have the political will for this? Article 3 of the Lisbon Treaty specifically mandates that Europe's cultural heritage be safeguarded. Article 167 of the Treaty of the Functioning of the EU requires the EU to safeguard cultural heritage of European significance. Greece and the reunification of the Parthenon sculptures should be at the centre of that conversation, particularly as 2018 is the European Year of Cultural Heritage. So what can we as Hellenes and Phil-Hellenes do to help? The International Association of the Reunification of the Parthenon Sculptures, made up of 20 committees, has been at the forefront of lobbying this issue since 2005. We note that any nation signatory to UNESCO has an obligation to oppose the retention of the Parthenon sculptures by the UK. You, as custodians of Hellenism and legislators in your respective countries, can continue to be a strong voice on this issue. Commonwealth countries can put pressure on their foreign ministers to step up from their current tepid positions that the issue is a bilateral one between Greece and Britain. Through our united voice, we must stand against this erroneous position and with reasoned, articulated arguments, persuade our governments of the importance of righting this historical wrong. If not at a national foreign policy level, at least as a part of nuanced foreign policy objectives and of an international conversation upholding the principles of international law. In Australia, we assisted our parliamentarians to form a parliamentary friendship with the Parthenon Marbles, a simple but symbolic action that you may like to consider in your own respective countries. From time to time, parliamentarians, both Hellenes and fellow Hellenes, introduce motions in their respective parliaments, another powerful action that publicises the issue. As a matter of profound symbolism, I've impressed upon the ministers I've spoken with that the Greek government at its highest level, either the presidential head of state or the Prime Minister, should make an annual official visit to the British Museum to view the Parthenon Sculptures. This annual pilgrimage would be a powerful reminder and respectful demonstration of the state of affairs. The return of the marbles will generate growth and jobs when after 200 years they are finally and famously reunited in Athens. I strongly urge that Greece should seize the promising opportunity afforded by the current negotiations in Brexit to secure the return of the Parthenon Marbles. Thank you.